Again, it just tells the story of it's the evil and the ugliness of people's hearts these days is everywhere.
This is Franky Rose's Think Tank. Here's your host, Franky Rose.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Think Tank. Well, today we are on day 7 of the Michelle Troconis Trial. So this is for the possible deleting and conspiracy in the death of Jennifer Dulos. So if you don't know much about Jennifer's case, take a look at the playlist and hopefully that will catch you up to speed. So Michelle was having an affair with Jennifer Dulos's husband. And when he got charged, about 3 weeks later, he did the old hose in the tailpipe trick and deleted himself. Didn't want to face his ish. So now we're looking at Michelle Troconis. Was she there and did she help him? Well, I personally believe she was there, and I personally believe that she helped him. So this here is the mug shots. We got Michelle Troconis and we have Folis Dulos. Folis Dulos was the husband of Jennifer Dulos. So we just went through in the last little bit a lot about DNA and whose was where. We are going to hear more because we haven't got the results yet. They're just saying positive for this, negative for that. And if the information I've received is correct, well, I don't even know how to say this properly and effectively, but they did delete Jennifer Dulos. Was Michelle there when this happened? I don't know for sure. I can't answer that at this point. But we do know that she was out there helping him get rid of evidence. There he is there. And they're saying that he was throwing away red DNA that was on clothing. This is the one that brings me back to Michelle. So when Phylos is driving around there getting rid of all of this alleged evidence, look who was sitting there with him. Yeah, we got Michelle Troconis in the vehicle. Now, this is a borrowed vehicle. This isn't even his. For whatever reason, well, we can surmise that he did this to throw off the cops because he used 2 different vehicles that were not his, and he owned 3 of his own. So just wow. So I think we're going to be a little bit surprised when the evidence starts coming out or the results of the DNA, because from what I've heard, there is both of their DNA in that garage. So we're just waiting for court. They should be in about 2 minutes. Let's see here. So this is Michelle Troconis now while she is in court. Steely face. Steely face. Right now, we're listening to the prosecution. Let me set this up now that they're in. All right, guys, here we go. Usually the defense is a little bit whiny. How am I going to do this?
Friday. Sergeant Ventresca was on the stand. Are we prepared to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor. Sergeant Ventresca is here. I have maybe 3 or 4 more questions for him, and then we can move on.
Thank you.
And the defense has always got a complaint. Of course there is. Of course there is. This judge is, we've been talking about it, this judge is phenomenal.
Okay, approach.
Yes.
We've had problems with jurors in this case.
This
It's
is
the
an
most
issue that I think
bizarre
is gonna
thing.
start coming up on a daily basis, so I believe we need to address it now. On Friday, the court permitted Sergeant Ventresca to explain.
Their volume is
why
not high.
He did certain things and took certain actions. He then mentioned a red Tacoma as a vehicle that was, quote, associated with
My
Mr.
invisible
Dulos.
cloak,
And he also
invisibility
mentioned that
cloak.
Hartford, Albany Avenue, Route 44 is a, quote, high crime area, unquote, in Hartford, as part of his thought process as to why he's looking for videos. There is a lot of problems that arose from that. First of all, as it will become eminently clear, Sergeant Ventresca knew nothing, zero, about a red Tacoma, quote, associated with, unquote, Mr. Dulos, because it belonged to one of his employees on the weekend of Labor Day of 2019. That's something he learned at least a week, if not 2 weeks later.
Can never hear this guy,
Open the door,
which is probably a
area
blessing,
of,
actually.
questioning that had nothing to do with the fact that Mr. Sergeant Ventresca went looking for cameras. The only issue had to do with his Ford Raptor, that they were looking to see if there were any vehicles, not specific ones, and then they saw the Ford Raptor. So getting into the Tacoma basically leaped over issues of confrontation, hearsay, and foundation, which were utterly lacking. And the witness did not mention.
So I will be doing something on Karen Reed. I'm hopefully thinking later today. I talked to Brian from LTL, and he gave me permission to use some of his content, which I think is awesome because as far as that case goes, he's on top of things. So I thank him for my future live. Much appreciated.
Because it's also true that right down a block or 2 further is the Dunkin' Donuts Stadium, where the Hartford Yard Goats play AA baseball almost every single week. So now we've had to get into the fact that when he made that statement, it suggested that no white rich guy from the suburbs would have any reason to be driving on Route 44 when it also happens to be the main thoroughfare for people who work in downtown Hartford, because Route 44 turns in right there around the next corner into Main Street, a block, maybe 2 blocks further up. So, you know, I bring these things up now.
I'm going to press mute and hopefully you guys can hear him
better. The trial of Fotis Dulos. It's the trial of Michelle Troconis. Whatever, I'm not here to defend Fotis Dulos or what he did or didn't do in connection with the disappearance of his wife. But the court is putting the defense in the position of having to defend that because of the fact that my client was living with Mr. Dulos. And so there's already a guilt by association problem that's arising. The motion I just filed, Your Honor, on Friday, the state said it, quote, had cases, quote, that supported the notion that what police do, they can explain their motivation and what hearsay they hear in exchange for why they took certain action. Well, I've attached pages from Judge Prescott's version of the 6th edition of the Tate's Handbook of Connecticut Evidence, which is the seminal treatise on Connecticut evidence. And there's many cases that I have attached that are in that section 8.9. But the most salient comment is, quote, on page 515, a police officer's conduct is rarely relevant to the crime charged, and the officer should not be allowed to repeat statements made to the officer to explain why the officer did or did not do something.
Well, the interpreter is unable to keep up, Attorney Schoenhorn,
I'm sorry.
with your presentation.
Let me repeat that slowly. A police officer's conduct is rarely relevant to the crime charged, and the officer should not be allowed to repeat statements made to the officer to explain why the officer did or did not do something. Close quote.
I hope they're not talking
Also,
about
fact that
the
I
homeowners,
apologize.
because what?
There's a case that came out in 2021, which I cite, Stay versus Armador, that repeats that same point. And like I said, I've included a couple of pages here. Why is that important? Because if the state says it has cases to the contrary, well, maybe someone needs to let Judge Prescott know that means that his subchapter is just plain wrong, and it needs to be.
Wow, 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 wow. That's all I hear. Wow, 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 wow.
And we're going to now have this happen with every witness, because we know the evidence, at least we've gone through all the evidence, and to now have to cross-examine about a red Tacoma that this detective knew nothing about until a week or two later, and it had nothing to do with what was or wasn't located on Albany Avenue. So, for example, if he had simply said, based on the phone pings that he received, they went to look for cameras, they gave that information, he wasn't around, he gave it to the other detectives to locate, and as a result, they obtained some footage. Then we could have moved right into the fact that there was footage of a Ford Raptor that was similar to one that Mr. Dulos owned. I would have had no objection to that. But now to get into a vehicle that this witness clearly knew nothing about at the time, and I'll just to preview what's to come a week later when the police are at Fort Jefferson Crossing and they have a search warrant, Mr. Pavel Gumieni drives up Fort Jefferson Crossing, sees the police officers there, and turns around, tries to get away, only to be stopped by the police. And then we get into what he was interrogated about, or what he was claimed he was doing, and then they questioned that. It didn't seem accurate. So that comes up. That's certainly going to be in the case down the road. But I don't get to confront and cross-examine this witness because he's not going to know where they got that information from. And I'm going to submit that at this point, they didn't have it at all. But my bigger concern, Your Honor, is that's why I keep filing these motions to eliminate. The court needs to at least make the state make an offer of proof about these issues. And if it doesn't, the prejudice is that the jury gets to hear this. The state gets to do a speaking objection, so it gets to give an extra closing argument as to why it wants to get into certain evidence. And aside from it not being fair that the case proceed that way, it eventually, if it hasn't already, becomes a due process violation. And it denies the defense.
What do you think is going to happen here? Is he going to get shut down again? Because he usually does.
As of that date, Memorial Day weekend, he had no idea that one of the employees owned a Tacoma. So I'm also asking that be stricken at this time from the record, because I just don't know what else to do. It's a surprise. The police never, it says almost never. I'll just note that in the Armador case, which is just a couple of years old.
Good God, man.
The issue was
He's doing everything he
witness
can to
the
keep
case,
stuff
not the
out.
police, went to the hospital at a certain time to see an acquaintance who was involved in, who had been one of the victims in that case, and went there. And the notion of relevance has to do
I
with
think-
not relevance to what the
Good
police
Lord, this
do.
guy.
It's relevance to the charges. It's relevance to the charges. And the fact that the police were looking for a car or to see whether there was a car, wondered why this suburban white guy who builds high-end homes is doing in Hartford. And there's also going to be evidence that my client was in the vehicle. She told the police, yes, she was in that vehicle, suggesting that the only reason to go to Hartford on Albany Avenue is for some nefarious reason, because it's a, quote, high crime area, which I know hasn't been true in 10 or 15 years. There's neighborhoods there that may be, but even the notion that Hartford and the main thoroughfare, one of two into town, is a, quote, high crime area suggests that there's a racial aspect to that testimony. And now I have to cross-examine into that. And I just didn't think that was appropriate, nor did I want to go that way. So the state, by doing this, is opening up the can of worms. And I bring it to your Honor's attention because I don't know, because I have to make a record, you know, and each thing, you know, the court maybe is tired of my objections, but
Yeah, he complains a lot, that guy.
we did sidebar on Friday. We did a sidebar. I understand that that was not being recorded by the court monitor, but I don't know that for sure. I think I learned that after court adjourned, that wasn't recorded. But what was discussed at sidebar was this
Damn
idea
troll,
that
guys,
they
damn troll.
explain why they do certain things. I said, but they don't. The court said, well,
Yeah,
you know,
same with
see where
Dandy
it
Friend.
goes, et
I
cetera.
think that
These
they're
things
acting
do
up.
need to be decided in
So,
advance, because otherwise
this guy's
police have
changing
gotten
his
back.
name, that
It's
Darren
prejudicial. And I
Shank.
just
He's a troll.
let the court know
So,
that, you know, I'm conscious
I'll be keeping my eye on him.
of the
Vanish.
concerns I have. I'm trying to defend a client here who we maintain is innocent of these charges. There's maybe a lot of evidence, at least a lot of
Good morning,
circumstantial evidence
friends.
against Fotis Dulos. Maybe in his trial, some of this, the rulings might be more appropriate, but they're not in my client's case. And therefore, I ask the court to reconsider that, to move to strike that, to strike the testimony about the motives.
Yeah, so I was saying, what do you
Not
think's
allow
going to happen here? Are
evidence
they
to
just
state
going to,
outside
is the
presence
judge
of
just
the
going to shut him
offer
down
proof
again?
strikes relevant, again, to the charges against my client, not relevant to what the police were doing. Thank you.
Well, before we hear
Good
from
God.
the state, Attorney showing on the court never tires of objections.
I
Counsel may
do.
tire of making objections. Court is never tired of objections.
I am.
Attorney McGinnis.
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning, and may it please the court. I find it a little bit ironic that the defendant would argue that there's somehow unfair surprise to her case in this particular instance. Attorney Manning apparently was up here with Attorney Schoenhorn for the better part of 5 to 10 minutes prior to court opening, and this motion was served on us after the court came out, and we opened court for the day. So, you know, obviously, Attorney Schoenhorn has our email addresses. He could have handed us the motion in advance so that we could have had an opportunity to look at some of the citations. I guess for some strategic surprise reason, he chose not to do that. But let me just be heard on some of the substance, Your Honor, because these arguments are becoming more and more unhinged from the defense as this case is progressing.
I agree.
Person in this courtroom that is injecting race into this proceeding is the defense.
Race?
The defense. The state of Connecticut did not ask the jury to draw any sort of racial inference from the fact that it's a high crime area. I don't know what they're frankly talking about when they say that that somehow injects race into this. I think that that's sort of a ridiculous argument. If Albany Avenue is objectively a high crime area, race has nothing to do with it. And I'll just indicate, Your Honor, for the record, that even the title to their motion is misleading, because it indicates that they want to preclude testimonial and prejudicial hearsay statements by police officers. Of course, the problem with the title, Judge, is that in order for something to be hearsay in the first instance and thus be testimonial, is that it must be offered for the truth of the matter asserted. And so evidence of
Yeah.
information that was relayed to police officers and why they took subsequent action is obviously probative of the issue of the investigative steps that were taken. And, you know, we had a chance to look at Armador during the course of the defendant's argument. And what the case indicates is that it is a fact-specific inquiry, and that non-hearsay can be used for the effect on the listener. There is no sort of blanket rule that the defense is asking for.
Right now,
And so if
prosecution.
the defense has an issue with a particular line of inquiry taken by the state, they should object. The court doesn't tire from objections, and we should just hear those out as they come along. But this motion, which again was filed just now in court for some strategic advantage on the part of the defense, to not give the state adequate opportunity to look at this and perhaps look at the entire treatise that they cited instead of just the pages that they attached to their motion, is sort of asking in advance to exclude any and all evidence of non-hearsay evidence. And I don't think that that's appropriate, Judge. And I just ask that the court deny this motion with the understanding, of course, that the defense can object if they feel that you know, somehow the evidence is not probative. But I don't see how something could possibly be hearsay if it's not being offered for a hearsay purpose.
Let me just respond briefly, Your Honor.
Of course, never brief.
To work over the weekend to have to come up with a motion, which when I was down here, I wrote last night and I brought with me this morning. Whether or not the state was in the room for 5 minutes or more before, as Your Honor notes, when the courts came out on the bench, I was still setting up. So pulling things out, et cetera, is what I have to do to get ready. But it's not just the Armador case, Judge. It's all the cases cited in what I attached right from the Tate's handbook. It's O'Shea versus Minone, M-I-G-N-O-N-E. It's State versus Robinson. It's State versus Gonzalez with an S. It's State versus Evans. It's State versus Sweeney, and State versus Vega, which is in the Con-App case, 48 Con-App case. So this isn't one case. This is a long line of cases. And in the Armador case, the court sets forth that police should never be able to, almost never. And then they allowed in a non-police officer to explain why that individual went to the hospital to see the victim, because it showed advanced knowledge, which was relevant to the charges against Mr. Armador. So I don't understand even the state's argument. This is also Miss Manning's witness. So I'm not sure why I'm hearing from Mr. McGinnis instead of the lawyer who's propounding that particular evidence, unless the court, then anyone can argue any point of law if an objection is made. And that's not my experience, but if that's the court allows it, I'm not going to stand on ceremony. It's just that we don't have Mr. McGinnis propounding that evidence. We don't have even an offer as to why it was important.
This guy seriously, like you said, shortly,
something that
verbal diarrhea.
Had no knowledge about at the time. It's being done as self-serving to try and create a closing argument.
Trials last
There's no
this guy
evidence to
doesn't
support it.
shut up.
Then the officer even had said, we then saw a red Tacoma in the video, and that's why we seized it. The next group of questions, he's going to be asked to describe
How you doing,
what
America?
he saw in a screenshot of a video. That's where we ended for the day. And again, it's going to be the same issue. It was seized, and someone else can testify. And I'll note, I've agreed with most of these witnesses. They don't have to call the store owner or the owner of the camera system to explain it.
Did you get a notification?
Offered to avoid that step. But if the court is going to allow witnesses to basically ignore the relevance and hearsay rules, then I'm going to no longer agree to that. And then they're going to have to call each camera owner to authenticate what's in there, because otherwise there's nobody to cross-examine. So I stand by my arguments. It seems to me that it's black letter law, at least in Connecticut, that it shouldn't be allowed. And they're going to do this with every witness. They're going to do it with every witness, every police witness.
Just briefly, Judge, a couple things. To begin with, As I recall, Attorney Schoenhorn argued a motion in limine the other day with respect to a witness that Attorney Felsen was going to be handling. So I'm not really sure what he is indicating when he says that it has to be one witness. If we're dealing specifically with motions, Your Honor, the court has allowed counsel the leeway to argue those motions, and the defense actually took advantage of that very fact the other day. So
Okay.
I'm not really sure where they're going with that. But I'll also just note that the motion itself
Okay.
is written not
Nice.
just specific to Sergeant Ventresca. As a matter of fact, I don't see his name even mentioned in the motion. It is for all police officers. So the idea that the state, can't have someone else argue it, I think, is a little bit specious, quite frankly. And I'll just note, Your Honor, that the defense is, essentially trying to engage in legal extortion by indicating that they're going to renege on their previous
Legal
agreements simply because
extortion?
the court is overruling objections. I think that that's, frankly, low rent. And I'd like to just address the merits of this, which is this is a
I like it,
fact-specific
low
inquiry,
rent.
whether or not something is effect on the listener, something for the court to decide. If it's relevant, if it's the danger of unfair prejudice outweighs it, those are the inquiries the court has to do. And I'm asking that the court deny their motion without prejudice, and they can raise these objections when they come up.
Thank you.
Fair.
The court will first address motions in limine in general. A motion in limine is designed to exclude from even the jury's hearing certain evidence that is unfairly prejudicial. For example, we had an example earlier in the trial. If the motion in limine called for exclusion of all evidence concerning marital discord, then the motion in limine should also indicate what that evidence is so that the court can determine whether that evidence is unfairly prejudicial. It's not the category of testimony that the court looks to in determining whether to grant a motion in limine. It is the specific facts or fact that the proponent of the motion believes is highly prejudicial and unfairly prejudicial.
Oh, how many
What
ties
the court
does this
sees
guy
here
have?
is
They're just
a
awesome.
motion in limine to preclude certain categories of testimony. Well, as both counsel are experienced, both counsel are not trying their first case. A witness can say anything at any time. It is not the court's role prior to hearing the evidence to help draft a script for a witness or a category of witnesses.
Nice.
A witness can begin to testify before a question is asked.
True.
It's not the court's role to stop the witness. The court is not counsel. It is not the court's role to pave the road for the state, and it is not the court's role to pave the road for the defense. It's not the court's role to set a pick, to use a basketball phrase, for the state. It's not the court's role to set a pick for the defense.
I think that's
That is
what
left to
defense is
the
worried about.
skill and experience and the training of counsel to bring an objection to the attention of the court by objecting.
Right. Right.
The motion is denied.
I knew it.
You can bring the jury in, please.
Yeah, I see all that. Shut down. Shut down. They're just afraid of what's coming out. I'm getting my cases a little mixed up. I've been deep diving into the Karen Reed case. Right? Every time he gets up there, and wow. He gets denied. Like, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Would council stipulate?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I believe we left off with Sergeant Ventresta.
Thank
He's
you.
right outside if I may.
Yeah, trying to limit what the cops are able to say. That's not usually the way it flies. Usually, like they just said, object if there's an objection, but you don't just give a blanket ruling saying nobody can say this. Like, come on. If you don't like the consequences, don't do
Sergeant
the act.
Ventresta is still under oath. You may be seated, Sergeant.
Sir,
May I inquire, Your Honor?
Yes.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
morning, how are you?
Just a couple questions. When we left off on Friday,
I can't hear you with this gentleman talking right in my ear.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Sir, with respect to when we left off on Friday, we were talking about 304 Albany Avenue. Do you recall that testimony?
Yes.
Based on what you learned from 304 Albany Avenue, what did you do?
I alerted the Troop L Major Crime Office, and I wanted to get a detective sent over to 304 Albany Avenue to pull that video.
And when you said Troop L, what is that?
Litchfield, Western District Major Crime Field Office.
Okay. Is that part of Western District Major Crimes that you are?
Yes.
And are you the sergeant in charge of that, Troop L?
Not Troop L, no.
Which sergeant is in charge?
Sergeant Bisson.
And at some point, did you receive information from that, from a officer with respect to 304 Albany Avenue?
Yes.
Who was that officer?
Detective Fitzsimons.
I don't think so.
Without telling me what he said or gave, based on that information, did you take any steps?
Yes, so it was the Thursday, the 30th, when that detective learned of what was on that video. There was a vehicle in question. I alerted Central District Major Crime, which is the Troop H Field Office, to get a detective over to Hartford C4, the Hartford Capital City Command Center.
And what day was that?
It was Thursday, the 30th.
Did you ever send anybody from Western District Major Crimes to C4?
Yeah, I sent Detective Butin on Friday, the 31st.
Not a good
to
look
C4
for
as
the
well.
defense.
Detective Butin, is he assigned to your unit?
Yes, Western District Major Crime. He was assigned to the Troop G Field Office.
I have nothing further. Thank you.
Okay.
Cross-examination.
Here comes Saul. He doesn't enjoy the defense.
Is it so, Sergeant Ventresta?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
We met. I'm John Schoenhorn. I represent Michelle Troconis. When you talk about Albany Avenue in Hartford, you also refer to it as Route 44, correct?
Yes,
And that's United States Highway 44, correct?
I would assume so if it's 44, yes.
What's US 44,
Yes.
right? And that's a major thoroughfare between Albany, New York, and I believe it goes to somewhere near Providence, Rhode Island, doesn't it?
I don't know.
I
where
take
it
it you've
goes.
never had to be a trooper in Eastern Connecticut, right?
No, never.
So that would be covered by troops that you visit very seldom, like Troop C, right? Troop K, that part of the state,
It's covered by those troops, yes.
but not you.
Not me.
All right. But you also know that this is a major thoroughfare, multi-lane from Avon across Avon Mountain, right?
Right.
And you said you were at at one point at 4 Jefferson Crossing where my client and Mr. Dulos lived, right?
Right.
And then if you take the side road Deer Cliff, you come to Route 44, isn't that right?
Correct.
And then you take Route 44 down, it's at
What
least,
are we
it's a
doing
4-lane
here?
road, right?
I'm not sure of the lineage on 44.
But it's a major thoroughfare,
I
right?
would say it's a major route, yes.
And then you come into West Hartford, right?
Yes, east of Hartford, yes. Or
The
west of Hartford, I'm sorry.
West
Hartford, no,
Hartford would
is
be
west
would
of
be west
Hartford, yes.
Okay, fair enough.
Right.
And then you stay on Route 44, it becomes a commercial area in West Hartford, right?
Yes,
And then you get to the University of Hartford, right there on Albany Avenue, isn't it? Right there in the corner?
I'm not sure the exact address, but I know UHART is in that area, yes.
UHART, that's a fairly large private university right there, right?
I don't know if it's large, but I know it's a private university.
Well, it's large
Yes.
landscape is what I mean, like land.
I don't know the acreage.
Fair enough. And then you cross the, I guess it's the Park River. and
Yeah,
then
see?
That becomes Hartford right there, doesn't it?
Again, I can't tell you exactly where the city limits are. If you're saying it is, then
All right, well, we looked at a map.
Right,
I could put it
right.
back up, but I'm just don't
Okay.
want to
right.
I just don't want to.
again. But one of the things we saw when
Oh.
you were showing the various
Very
streets
good
in
then.
Hartford along Route 44, there's a McDonald's right there, right?
I don't recall.
You don't recall seeing
Yeah,
that on the
McDonald's?
map
No.
or the satellite view, I mean.
No.
And you also know that if you go down another couple of blocks, you get to the Yard Goats baseball stadium, right? A AA team stadium is right there, right?
I think it's there.
Yeah, so that's the Yard Goats is a professional baseball team, right?
Right.
And that was there in 2019, wasn't it?
I believe so. You're talking Dunkin' Donuts?
The Dunkin' Donuts Stadium right there, right? And that you understand that a lot of people come from the suburbs to watch AA
What's he
baseball.
talking about? Where's this going?
So when you use the term that that portion of Route 44 was a quote, high crime area.
That's what I'm
was it
thinking.
Because there was a Jamaican restaurant? there?
No, it's referring to the city of Hartford.
The city is, okay.
Yes.
But you didn't know if Mr. Dulos had any business in Hartford at all, do you?
Not that we knew of at the time.
You knew that he built large homes, right? But you don't know whether he owned or built in Hartford, do you?
Did not know at that time.
And you didn't know if he had any dumpsters available at that time either, did you?
Did not know at
Yeah,
that time.
Tony,
When you
exactly.
drove by 4
Confusion.
Jefferson Crossing, you didn't see a dumpster,
No.
did you? There was a for sale sign there, though, wasn't there? In front of his house,
At
from the
4?
pictures we saw.
At 4? I can't remember if there was a for sale sign at 4 back then, back in
Yep.
May 24th.
Okay, so we're talking about that Memorial Day
Yep.
weekend, right? Correct?
Correct.
And you did go past 80 Mountain Spring Road, right?
Yes.
And you knew that was a house that was being built or had just been built by the Ford Group as of that date, right?
Yes.
And you in fact testified on Friday that you saw one of those large banner for sale
Hey,
signs of the
Chopper.
Ford Group in the picture, right?
Yeah, something similar. Yes. And
And you couldn't remember if it was actually in front of the house or by the street, but you remember something similar
you
like
feeling,
that
Max?
outside.
I remember there was something down by the road, at the base of the driveway. I couldn't tell you what was up by the house.
Well, indicating the house
Yeah.
was for sale, right?
Right.
And as of that date, did you know whether or not there were showings at that house on 80 Mountain Spring?
No, I
Road?
did not know.
Good to see all you guys. Why is he talking about highways and byways?
You were
What's
also
the actual?
testifying on Friday that were different kinds of cars that you believed were, quote, I think you used the word affiliated with, unquote, Mr. Dulos. Is that right?
I would say that's right. Yes.
You mentioned a red Tacoma as one of
Good
those.
to hear,
cars. Were you
Fran.
saying that?
Yes, sir.
Now, as of Memorial Day weekend, you didn't know anything about a red Tacoma belonging to one of Mr. Dulos'
You just stick that
employees.
thing
did
up
you?
your nose to make sure you
That
don't have that
weekend you found out?
Yes,
disease.
Sunday. Or I'm sorry, that Monday. Not the weekend, but the Monday.
I keep
But
them
when you were
around the
driving
house.
Around on, I think you said the weekend,
No,
right?
yes.
You were looking
Yes.
for
Okay.
cameras and whatnot, right? You didn't know anything at that point about.
Not on Sunday about the red truck.
And you knew that belonged to an employee of Mr. Dulos
We
named
learned,
Pavel.
we learned that on Monday.
Named
Yeah.
Pavel Gumieni, right?
Yes, yes. Just, it wasn't registered to Pavel.
It was registered, well, that's another.
wa-
that
it
was
wasn't registered to Pavel.
Pavel's wife.
Yes,
Correct?
correct.
It was not registered
Yeah.
to Mr. Dulos, was it?
No,
Wasn't registered to Michelle Troconis, and it wasn't registered to the Ford Group, the company.
no.
Did you
These-
look into any other vehicles that were owned by other employees of the Ford Group at that time,
Yes, we did.
that weekend?
That weekend, when we set up our command post, we put every employee that was listed on the Ford Group website
Mhm.
on our whiteboard. We looked into every employee, and in fact, we sent leads out that weekend to start interviewing those employees. And part of that process
They're
when we
on
put them
it.
on the whiteboard is to gather intelligence through law enforcement databases and searches to determine what vehicles people drive, where they live, what their phone numbers are, et cetera.
Were you looking for other vehicles of the other employees as you drove along Albany Avenue on Route 44?
No,
Why would he just explain?
And you did know that that red Tacoma was about 20 years old, correct? It was
Yes.
a 2001 Tacoma, right?
yes,
And were you aware that it was leaking oil and was in bad condition?
very aware.
Incidentally, you didn't look for any leaking oil along the route you were traveling, did you?
No, I mean, there's multiple vehicles that drive routes. There's multiple oil stains all over the roads.
But these are all things you learned a little bit later, is that correct?
Well, that Monday, I learned about the Tacoma through a neighborhood canvas. So we put that vehicle on our list of vehicles on that Monday.
By the way, you didn't know whether Mr. Dulos had ever been known to dump garbage at locations where he should not have been doing that, did you?
Not that day, no.
On any
No,
day?
no.
He gets irritated.
Now, in your career as a state trooper, have you ever had to investigate an illegal dumping case?
No.
Even as a road trooper?
No,
Isn't that something the state police sometimes? investigate?
sometimes, I mean, mostly like debris on the highway, people throw couches out along the highways and such like that.
Oh, you ever seen contractors doing that so they don't have to pay for a dumpster?
No.
Never.
No,
You can tell when he gets
You
irritated.
said that when you saw the camera on the Jamaican restaurant awning, you said you referred it to, I think you said Troop L. Is that what you said? You mean
yes.
Troop H in
No,
Hartford?
Troop L, Western District Major Crime Field Office.
Well, wasn't Troop H just right down the street from where the Albany Avenue is? Like maybe 6
Washington, I
blocks?
think it's on Washington and Hartford.
Yeah, isn't Washington, it's right near the Capitol, right?
Yes,
And you didn't contact them.
no,
And incidentally, on May 31st, 2023, was Detective Fitzsimons assigned to the Western District Major Crime Squad?
on May 31st. What year did
I'm
you say?
sorry, let me rephrase that. On May 25th and 6th, when you asked him to go look for cameras.
He was assigned to Western District Major
was.
Crime.
What is a
And
chroma
was he
key?
assigned as a detective or as a trooper at that?
Detective. in
So
the Troop L
this-
Field Office.
Believe it or not, is green. This is green. So it makes me think of my green screen.
Nothing further, thank you.
Sergeant May, step down.
Thank you, Your
Oh,
Honor.
nice. He's glad to get out of there. I am.
If I may call it Mike Fitzsimons, please.
Yes, I am. The other screaming that I use, the other,
If I may have a moment.
yeah,
Yes.
it's behaving like a green screen. But the other streaming service that I use, this doesn't happen. Right? Oh no. See, it's these guys that they were trying to get rid of their testimony or only let them use so much. That's what this was all about. Cop, you guys?
Michael, Michael, Fitzsimons, Fitzsim.
Right, Doctor.
You may be seated.
Thank you. Your Honor, may I inquire?
Yes.
Thank you. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Doesn't look it. He looks tense.
Mr. Fitzsimons, did you previously work for the Connecticut State Police?
Yes, I did for 25 years.
When did you part company with the Connecticut
It
State
will
Police?
be 2 years, March of this year.
Did you retire?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And at what rank did you retire at?
Detective.
And was there a particular division of the Connecticut State Police that you worked at when you retired?
The Western District Major Crime Squad.
And what troop were you assigned to?
I was assigned to the Troop L office,
Who was your supervisor?
Sergeant Al Bisson.
And could you briefly just describe to the jury some of your training?
I wonder if he's going to go through the whole highway thing with this
So
witness.
initially I was hired by the
Painful
state
listening
police. I attended
to
the
Paul.
State Police Academy. There we're trained and tested in all the academia skills and procedures necessary to become certified as a state police officer. I successfully completed the training academy. When I graduated the academy, I was assigned as a patrol trooper. I was initially stationed at Troop L up in Litchfield. I was there for approximately 8 years. Throughout my 25 years, I've had several assignments from I was a canine handler and a member of our state police tactical unit and an instructor at the
Oh,
academy,
wow.
firearms instructor. But a majority of my career, actually 16 years of my career, I was with the Western District Major Crime Squad.
Thank you, sir. If I could just have one moment.
Nice. Saul's just going to rip them apart. He'll be up there. You watch. Sidebar, sidebar, sidebar. I'm sure that's what they feel like when they sit in that seat. They know that he's coming.
Detective Fitzsimons, were you working with the Western District Major Crimes Squad in May of 2019?
Yes, I was.
And what troop were you assigned to again? Where were you headquartered out of?
I was with the Troop L office, which is also located at the Western District headquarters.
And is that in
Again, the
Litchfield?
Western District is comprised of, as far as the major crime offices and the troops, are 4 offices and 4 troops. And again, we
Too
kind
many
of work
goo-goo,
all in
guys.
concert together. I kind of equate it to like those of you who live in cities where there's multiple firehouses. Sometimes you only need one firehouse, other times you may need several. So we kind of work together.
And I'm going to draw your attention specifically to May 29th of 2019. What was your assignment that day?
I was assigned to assist with obtaining a copy of video surveillance from an establishment on Albany Ave in Hartford.
And what was that address, sir?
The average was 304 Albany Ave, and the point I was supposed to meet, the name of the establishment was Benji's 2 Seafood Restaurant.
Mm. So it does seem, like I said, that they're talking to a lot of law enforcement.
Can I just inquire of the court and all the TVs are on?
The court's monitor is on.
It is on. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
Hold on this one.
Do you have it?
Hmm.
Your Honor, with respect to States 34, there are 2 items on it that have already been admitted through other witnesses. However, the last 2 have not. Sir, if I can draw your attention to the screen behind you, I'm going to show you what's been marked as,
Good
I guess,
question.
picture 2.
Show us picture 2. There
Do
we
you
are.
recognize
Thank
what's
you.
depicted in that photograph, sir?
Yes, I do.
And what is that?
Benji's 2 Seafood Restaurant.
And is that the restaurant you went to on May 29, 2019?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Why did you go there?
I was assigned by my supervisor to download. They had video surveillance there. Information was received or passed on to me that they believed there was information, believing Photos Dulos was in the area of
Mm-hmm.
on May 24th.
Yeah.
Between 7 and 8 p.m.
With his partner.
Now, did you speak to anybody at the restaurant without saying what they said, please? But did you speak to anybody?
Yes,
Okay, and were you able to download any video?
yes, I was.
Okay, I'm gonna actually draw your attention to this screen again, picture 1. Sir, if you need to, Your Honor, may I just ask him to
Certainly.
step near the screen? Thank you. You can. Does that picture or map, if you will, depict where you went that day on May 29th?
Yes, it does.
If you could please point that out.
In this area, here, Albany Avenue area, near the intersection, it's Green Street,
If I can.
the knife and fork are.
Where the knife and fork are. It says Island Fish Head Jamaican Restaurant. Sir, is that the restaurant you went to?
It was called, as far as I know, Benji's 2 Seafood Restaurant. I don't know when this.
Okay, and that would be the Benji's in picture 2.
Yes.
At the
304
time.
Albany Ave.
So in 2019, is this
Come
what
on,
the
spit it out.
intersection of Albany and Green look like?
Yes.
Thank you. Now, sir, with respect to the, you can have a seat. I'm sorry, thank you. Did you look for a specific time frame?
Yes, I did.
What was that time frame?
The time frame was between 7 and 8 p.m. from May 24th.
And did you ask for a specific, between 7 and 8 p.m.?
Normally, I kind of create a buffer, so I probably have sometime around 6:48, 6:45 to approximately 8:25.
This is probably what they were after.
15, 20 minutes on each end, just to account for any anomalies.
And did you watch the video on scene while you were there at
No,
the
I did not.
restaurant? Okay. With respect to that day when you received the video, what did you do next?
Once it was downloaded onto the thumb drive or flash drive, I transported it to my office in Litchfield. Once I got to the office, I inserted it in my computer, viewed it on the screen to make sure I had a copy. I wasn't coming back with an empty.
Maybe they're going to
thumb
show the
drive.
video.
Once I saw that I had a recording, I made a copy of it, a working copy. And then what I do with the original is I take that and put it in evidence for safekeeping.
There you go.
Was the video continuous or motion activated?
It was continuous.
And did you review that video?
I did.
And where were you when you reviewed that video?
I was at my office.
Did you have a specific assignment in your review of that video, or was there something in particular you were looking for?
I really hope they show this video.
The working copy, again, I wanted to make sure that I successfully made a copy. Again, we'll make copies of the original, that way I can disseminate it to the lead officer or counsel, what have you, down the road. That minimizes damaging or losing the original. Again, the original was evidence.
I wondered how they
Going
did that,
through
but that makes perfect sense.
the working copy, ensuring that I had successfully downloaded it.
Did you guys
I
see
was
the
aware of the
judge's
vehicle,
tie today?
one of the vehicles, or the vehicles, Photos Dulos had.
Awesome
registered.
as usual.
And then while going through ensuring the copy, I
Yeah.
noticed one of Photos, what appeared to be a vehicle consistent with Mr. Dulos's vehicle.
What type of vehicle was that?
A black Ford Raptor.
After, was Do you recall what time?
Yeah, I hope they show it.
that vehicle or a vehicle consistent with a,
Approximately 7:40 PM.
and after you saw that on the video, what did you do, if anything?
So
You
reviewing it,
sing, play
I monitored
instruments,
it,
and
as
watch
the
true
vehicle
crime on the TV? You're a
had-
busy,
had made
busy
a
boy.
U-turn, it was coming back.
Your Honor, I'm going to object to him giving a narration. The video will speak for itself. So the fact that he reviewed it, he logged it in, I assume that.
Very talented you are,
The
Tony.
video, I'm not objecting to that, but I object to a sort of running sideline play-by-play.
That's fine, Your Honor. I can, it be states 35. I can play that now. with-
Throw your YouTube link
Sustained.
in there, Tony, and I'll share it.
I can, sir. I'm going to draw your attention to the screen behind you.
You guys, can you remind me to add Tony's link onto the description?
I may just have one moment.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm like you. Sometimes. Yeah, absolutely. I just need the link.
Okay, sir, do you recognize what's depicted on that screen?
Yes, that is an easterly view of Albany Avenue at the front of the Benji's Restaurant.
Okay, when you say easterly view, let me just ask you, if somebody was driving away from the screen towards the upper right, is that towards Hartford or away from Hartford?
That would be towards Hartford.
Okay. Oops, if I can, I hit the wrong. I apologize, Your Honor. I hit the wrong button. Okay, I'm going to stop it there, sir. If you wouldn't mind, Your Honor, may I ask him to go to the
Yes.
screen? Sir, if you can, just on the upper, if you could point on the upper left-hand corner of that video screen, what does that time, is that a timestamp? Is that?
The upper left, the 05/24/2019 date and year. Friday, and then 07:40:55 PM.
Now, after you watched this video, sir, did you take any screenshots of the video?
Yes, I did.
And what did you do with those screenshots?
Once I took the screenshots, I'd saved them, printed them out, and I ultimately disseminated it to the Troop G office.
Okay, it's in the description, guys.
34. Your Honor, at this time, there are 2 items on stage 34 that are ID only, unless if
Got it.
there's no objection at this
No
point.
objection.
Then if we
There
can
now.
move
And I put it in the
the
description
entire
for you.
of stage 34 as a full exhibit, those 2 items that the state is planning on introducing at this time also appear on Sergeant Ventresca's as ID. But if they are moved as full now,
Stage 34 will be admitted as a full exhibit.
thank you. So I'm going to show you what's been in Martha's picture 3 out of states 34. Do you recognize that?
Yes, I do.
And what is it?
That is a.
So it'll show up in the
screenshot
description now.
for the-
Every
Is that
time
the
I do
screenshot that you took
a live or
and
video.
disseminated
Yes, it is.
in picture 4?
Please do, Tony. Yeah, please do.
That is
We enjoy it.
screenshot
We
for Raptor.
really
And is
enjoy it.
that the screenshot that you took
Yes, it is.
and disseminated?
Yes.
I have nothing further. Thank you.
Cross-examination.
No questions.
Thank you.
What?
Well, we will refer to you as detective. You may step down.
Didn't expect that. Didn't see that coming. I've also added Melanie Little
Josh Quinn.
and LTL True Crime. And once again, I thank Brian for allowing me to use his content in the Karen Reed case because he's got some great content. You guys sub up. What did we do to deserve no questions from the defense? Yes, thank you. Thank you, thank you. She just doesn't look happy. Miserable looking little thing. I think she knows she can end up in the hoosegow.
Joshua, last name Quint.
And you may be seated. Thank you.
Your Honor. Morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, ma'am.
May I inquire, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Quint, by whom are you currently employed?
The Connecticut State Police
And how long have you worked for the Connecticut State Police?
for about 6 months.
For about 6 months? All right, what's your position with the Connecticut State Police?
I currently work as a criminal analyst for the state police.
Okay, what is an analyst?
An analyst provides investigative support to detectives, troopers, patrol officers. We just assist with investigations, whether by whatever means we can, whether that be law enforcement technology or commercial or law enforcement databases.
Are you a sworn police officer?
I am not.
So prior to working for the Connecticut State Police, what did you do?
I worked for the Hartford Police as a crime analyst.
Well said.
And I spent 6 years there.
Yep.
Particularly where?
At the Hartford Police Department. Our unit was called C4.
What is C4?
C4 is the Capital City Command Center.
Hence the 4 Cs?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How long did you work at C4?
For 6 years. About 6 years.
Could you just explain what C4 is?
Yes. So C4 is a unit which is assigned to the Hartford Police Department. We fall underneath the Vice Intelligence Narcotics Division for the Hartford Police. The room, it's a big room at Jennings Road for the police department. In there's a bunch of TVs, a closed circuit camera system, which belongs to the city of Hartford and the Hartford Police. And then there's a team of analysts and detectives that work in that office collaboratively together to help solve crime.
With respect to all the video screens, what is it showing?
A lot of them are city cameras, so they're on public poles throughout the city.
And is it a continuous or Real time?
Yes, the feed is real time.
What areas do the video cameras cover?
They're placed all throughout the city in different places. It's mostly based off of infrastructure and where we could place cameras. And a lot of it is based off of data that we have for where violent crime occurs.
Are the cameras motion activated or continuous?
So the cameras are motion activated. When enough pixels are activated through the camera tells the recording server to record the video stream that it's getting.
And are they retained, the video? Yes. For how long are they retained for?
Up to 30 days.
Does C4 also do other things?
Not long enough.
Surveillance?
We do. So we help provide, like I said before, commercial databases, law enforcement databases, so checks into those databases. In addition to that, phone forensics, video enhancement forensics, and just kind of helping detective solve their crime, whatever it may be.
With respect to being an analyst, could you briefly describe some of your training and experience that led you to be an analyst?
Yes. So my technical career started on the early side. I worked for Apple for a very short period of time through college where I worked on phones. Following that, I did spend some time in the military where I served as a military police officer. During my time in the military, I attended a crime and criminal intelligence analyst course down at Fort Leonard Wood, the United States Military Police School. Following that, I worked for the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of Defense for the Army.
And in 2019, were you working at C4?
Yes, ma'am.
I think you're right.
I was a crime analyst.
And I'm going to draw your attention specifically to May of 2019, at the end of May. Did C4 go through video surveillance throughout Hartford at the request of law enforcement in the investigation into the disappearance of Jennifer Dulos?
Yes.
Were you part of that assignment?
Yes.
And specifically, what was that assignment?
I was contacted by my supervisor who had asked me to assist the New Canaan Police Department and State Police with a missing persons case. Specifically, he wanted me to check for video between the hours of 7 and 8 o'clock on the 24th.
Is that 7 and 8 o'clock p.m.?
Yes, ma'am.
So how does that work when strike that. Let me ask a foundation question first. How many video cameras are in Hartford that C4 is capable of looking through?
So there's over 1,000 different camera views throughout the city.
So how do you look through it for a particular item or vehicle for a particular time, say 7 to 8 o'clock?
So it can be done manually, where we can scrub through the video and actually look and find manually what we're looking for. There's another option. We have a software program called BriefCam. BriefCam is a video analytic. I don't know if I should continue to explain.
If you can.
Okay.
Thank you.
BriefCam is a video analytic, and the way that it works is it looks at all the different objects that move through the frame, identifies them by what they are, whether it's a pickup truck, a bus, a van, a car, and then it also separates it out by color. So now you could use this program to then go filter and find the different objects that appeared.
And with respect to BriefCam, are you trained in it?
Yes, not formally, but on the job training.
Okay. In fact, did C4 help develop BriefCam?
We worked with the company to help further develop their platform after they let us to start using the program.
Okay. And with respect to was BriefCam something that you used for this
on a daily
assignment?
basis. Yeah, yes.
Okay. And for this assignment as
Yes.
well? Okay. So what did you do?
So we were given at that time frame between 7 and 8 o'clock p.m. to look for, specifically the assignment was to look for a black pickup truck, a black Ford Raptor, a white Jeep, and a black Chevy Suburban, and find something that fit those descriptions.
What day were you given that assignment?
I don't remember the exact day.
Okay. Well, let me ask this. Was it after May 24th?
Yes.
Okay. I'll move on. Now, with respect to the use of BriefCam, was that utilized in the course of this assignment?
Yes.
And as a result of using BriefCam, was a video footage developed during the time of 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock?
Yes.
Okay.
Surprise defense
If
isn't
I may just
jumping
have a
up.
moment, Your Honor.
And that's all. They're not very quiet about it. I mean, I can't make out what they're saying, but
36. Seats 36, Your Honor. I don't believe there's any objection.
I'm looking at it right now. Let me just have one more moment to make sure.
of course,
Coming out of- Which one goes to?
of course.
This one?
Yeah, I don't have an objection to this.
Thank you. States 36 admitted as full.
There we go. This guy, like the defense, delay. That's what it seems like to me.
Okay, Mr. Quinn, I'm going to ask you to take a look behind you, please.
Whoa.
All right,
Check it
seats
out.
36. What are we looking at?
So this is the video management system. It's called Milestone. This is where all of our cameras that we live stream into the PD. This is the system that they're stored in. It's where we can export video from and pull up different views and look at the video.
Is this what you would see at C4 in 2019?
Particularly for this case, yes, this would have been the streams that we would have pulled for that.
Okay. And with respect to, I don't know if you could see it or you need to go up to the screen. If I can, Your Honor, ask him to approach the screen if need be. Each camera viewpoint, I guess the grids, do they contain a separate camera?
Yes.
And with respect to the camera viewpoints that are contained on that screen, what area do they
The
cover?
second row,
So
far right, looks
each
like
camera, so the top row of these cameras covers the area of Albany and Blue Hills.
our area.
Intersection in Hartford. So there's a pan-tilt zoom camera, and then there's 3 additional fixed cameras or 4 additional fixed cameras that show the intersection around that area.
So is his
The
truck
area
going
of
to
Albany
show in
Garden
each of these
is,
videos? That
these
truck,
are
not
all
his?
just the fixed cameras, and then the area of Albany and Center.
Now you mentioned
driving
fixed
around
cameras
dumping
versus
stuff.
something else. What's the something else?
The something else is a PTZ or pan-tilt zoom. That's how it's labeled up there. So it's a camera that we could move around at the PD, but it's also a camera that is of a higher resolution than the other ones.
With respect to,
Really?
for instance, you said, I believe the first one, Albany and Blue Hills. Would that be that first row?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Which one is the, just going to say the movable camera, if that's okay?
It's the top left.
Okay. And the other 3 would be are in fixed points?
Yes, ma'am.
With respect to the movable camera, was it moved during this time period? Or how are you able to move it around?
So when in a live incident, we're able to actually use the computer program, click into the live view, and then dictate where we would like the camera to be pointed at.
When would you utilize that in a live instance?
So being part of a real-time crime center, we support a lot of shooting investigations that happen in the city. So when there's a shooting that cops may be responding to, we're pulling up these live feeds, moving the cameras to points where cars may be fleeing, where we're able to get a license plate and then develop that further.
Just, would you also utilize it if like the marathon or an event or anything like that?
Yes,
together?
Marathon, the Jazz Fest, all sorts of
Okay.
different events in Hartford.
Is that the, just, that's.
Not
the real-time
interesting. I
portion
had no
of the
idea.
Real-time crime center for the
Yes.
C4, I just want to clarify, make sure we're on the same page. Now, with respect to Albany and Garden, did that have a movable camera?
It did.
Okay. And is the movable camera displayed here?
It is not.
Okay. And believe
Show
you
the
said Albany
videos.
and Center, or
Yes,
is that the other one? Is that a movable camera?
the one that's up here is not.
Okay. Now, I'm going to draw your attention to, this is Albany and Blue Hills. I see the PTZ. Is that what you were talking about, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What is down here? And if you can see for the record, my cursor is highlighting the bottom middle portion of the screen. But what is that?
So that's the timeline. So it shows you the date, the time of the video. That's where it is when you're playing it. The red is motion. And then as the video progresses, the bar will start to slide.
Okay. And by the way, are you able to, I guess, go back and forth between the viewing of one screen versus back to that main view and go in between?
Yes, ma'am.
So start
Are
playing.
they gonna
Sir,
play
what's
it?
the time
Oh,
that
there we
this
go.
starts at?
7:29. I don't know what the seconds were. You already started playing it.
So imagine we're looking for that truck.
Now, actually gonna fast forward a little bit. And well, while this is playing, sorry, what intersection is this?
Albany and Blue Hills.
Now, which road is Albany? If you wouldn't mind standing up and just pointing, if that's okay.
This is Albany here. Runs from east to west.
And there's a road over here on the right. What is this?
That's Adams Street.
Okay, and over here on the left?
I do not know what the name of the street is.
Okay. And over here on this green and yellow awning side, do you know what that is?
Scott's Bakery.
And
Hmm.
is this where the camera is? Is that an intersection?
Yes, it's pointed just past the intersection. The intersection would actually be below the view.
Okay.
I don't see a
And
garbage bin.
if you were traveling, say, up towards the middle of the camera, that way, if you see the cursor going upwards, is that towards Hartford or away from Hartford?
That's away from Hartford.
Okay, so Hartford would be coming towards the bottom portion of the
What do you
screen?
guys think? Why are we looking at this? Is he gonna show up? The truck gonna show up?
And did you utilize brief cam on this camera?
Yes.
And again, what information did you put into brief cam?
I missed it.
So we were given a time
Jeez.
frame, between 7 and 8 o'clock, specifically to look for a black truck or a black Ford Raptor, a white Jeep.
Was it, well, with respect
Okay.
to the black Ford truck, were you giving the information of a black Ford truck or a black Ford
We
Raptor?
were given specifically a black Ford Raptor.
What's
And is
that?
this the video that brief cam gave you?
Yes.
Oh, okay, there it is. Yeah, I gotcha. I gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, I don't think I've seen it yet.
So if you were to go back to that main screen, would it continue the same time frame?
Yes.
Okay. If you can have a seat, sir. Or I'll probably be asking you to get up.
Right.
Again, but- So if I go back to the main screen, the camera view right next to it, is that time now, I paused it at 7:32:05. Is that time picking up at 7:32:05?
Yes, ma'am. It's a continuation.
It's a continuation? Okay. And with respect to this camera, if I can, where is this camera located?
So this is the southeast corner, right behind the telephone pole at McDonald's.
And what road is this vehicle turning down?
This is Milford Street.
Pretty interesting.
And is this one of those cameras that can be moved?
No.
Where is he going?
Now, does Albany Avenue have cameras, or I'm sorry, not Albany Avenue, does C4 have cameras down that street, that Milford Street that was in that direction?
We do not.
Okay, are the only cameras that relate to this along Albany Avenue?
For this incident, yes.
Okay. And is there another camera that picks up that truck?
Yes.
Now, you mentioned the McDonald's. Is that?
That is, yep.
Okay, so we're still at the same intersection, sir. Where is the Milford Street that the truck went down?
So it would be on this side of the field. It would
Okay,
continue down that south.
so
Okay.
is there a way? In this road right up here?
That's a plaza entrance.
Oh.
I'm glad they're showing us this. He's not smart. Like, let's just put him on major roads.
Last you indicated there was a fourth camera area. I'm actually just going to scroll back. Which camera angle is this, sir?
So this is another one of those fixed cameras, and this is northbound. This road here would be Milford Street. This would be Whipple.
Attorney Manning, it is now about 11:16. We should probably take our morning recess.
Okay. Yes, Your Honor.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will take our morning recess and resume at 11:30. Thank you. Please do not discuss the case.
All righty. Let's see here. Oh, what did I just do? Of course I did. Of course I did. There we go. There we go. So why do you think he was fighting so hard to get the cops to keep certain things out? It didn't work for him. Is this Barry Morphew Jr. just stopping at all random trash cans to get rid of evidence? Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. But by the looks of it, this guy has picked places that are like pot. Like, look at there's vehicles. I mean, not in a back alley in somebody's bin or anything. He's doing this in places that were fairly freaking busy. It's unreal. Unreal. Oh, yes. I'm surprised that hasn't happened already, Dandy. You know, I don't know. They're waiting on something. I mean, we don't even really know what they found with her. Were her clothes there? Like, we don't know anything yet. You know, it's again one of those cases where you feel really, really, really strongly that he did this. And it's another one where he's got a girlfriend now. It's like, what? I think they're trying to be really careful with that one because the state messed up badly arresting him the first time. I think you're very much right. I think that's exactly what's happening. They want their T's crossed, their I's dotted. It's just, whoa. They sure did. They sure did. So what do you guys think with Karen Reed talking about prosecutors getting in trouble? What do you guys think about the feds looking into this case and the prosecutors? I will be doing a live, I was saying earlier, either tonight or tomorrow. I'm going to look at some of LTL, True Crime, some of his content. And I think the first one I'm going to do is he had, oh my goodness, Melanie Little on his show. So I'm thinking I might look at that one because it is full of information. And that's another case where, like, literally the feds are looking into this. So, yeah, can't wait until the feds release their findings. I know, right? Good morning. Good morning. It's a school of how to be an idiot while committing felony crimes. Right? It's like, oh my God, this case, like, oh, when the evidence when the evidence is pointing really strongly, I don't even know why these guys, girls, whatever, try to weasel their way out of them. You know, I just think that you did the crime, so why are you not willing to do the time? It's just, it's disgustingly wimpy. You've got it. I mean, we'll find out with Michelle Troconis, you know, what they say and results of some tests and toxicology. And then we'll see where Michelle fits in there because the DNA is in that garage. I don't know how much, and I'll just maybe put a legend on that because it hasn't come out from any of the paperwork yet. But it's looking like both Michelle and Folis had left some signs behind as well. So I'm looking forward to them going through that. What did you post on Discord, friend? Chopper found a case that she's finding interesting. Let's find out. Let's find out who she'd be talking about. You know, I have not had time to do the tree house. And that case was blowing me away. It's still going on. So I haven't figured out with all of the different things that we're doing right now how to fit it in. But it's, I sure want to because what? Tell us what it is, friend. I'm curious. Let me see. I'll go find out myself. Never mind. Other conversation. Oh, yeah, that's very interesting. Grown man went on bang bang spree after telling 17-year-old girl to. Let me see here. Okay, let's do this again. Grown man went on a shooting spree after telling 17-year-old girl to date him. Brutal. According to the prosecutors, Michael Monroe Banks went on a spree, deleting one person and injuring two after he wanted to start a relationship with one of the survivors, a 17-year-old girl. This happened in Tampa, Florida. So went on a spree after two other adults discussed kicking him out of the home because he pursued a relationship with a teenage daughter, according to documents viewed by Law and Crime. So he's 42 years old, and it says his criminal history has reasons to keep him held without bond. So doesn't that look interesting, Copper? Thank you for that. Yeah, thank you for that, Copper. Yeah. Right? Good job. Good job, my sleuthy friend. Have I heard about that one, Dandy? Um, do I know of that one, Dandy? Can you throw it in Discord as well? That's very interesting. Just what? Oh my God. Like Chopper said, you can't make this shite up. Yeah, it's so bizarre. It's so bizarre. Yeah, thank you very much. Yep, you absolutely do. I appreciate you, friend. Very, very much. Yeah, I'm interested in hearing about that one from you as well, Dandy. I'm excited to do the next Karen Reed. I just think that that case is like, oh, what the hell? Oh my God. So thanks, Dandy. Let's check it out. Investigators hope to identify human head and hand found in a freezer in a Colorado home. What the F? People cleaning the freezer of a recently sold home in Western Colorado made a grisly discovery. Head and hands. Mesa County Sheriff's Office first announced the discovery of possible remains in January 12 news release. In a Thursday update, when is this from? January 21st. Ooh la la, what the hell? So they said the coroner's office had conducted an autopsy and confirmed the remains were human and head and hands. Makes head, what is that? Head, shoulder, knees, and I can't remember that. There's no, I don't know, saying, little tune. At this time, we have no other definitive answers until further testing can be completed. These type of tests takes a significant amount of time. So hopefully, I mean, it's got the hair, so should be able to get DNA and fingerprints. Unreal, Dandy. Absolutely unreal. Wow. Hey, Babs. Thursday at 9 a.m. So how do you think that's going to go? You guys, I know a lot of you keep up with this case. What do you think? Are they streaming that, Babs? I appreciate that. Gotta say, Colorado has some crazy sometimes. Oh, yeah. Do you know what? The mountains, a lot of people move to little tiny spots in the mountains, and it's to get away. It's somebody's after them, or there's a lot of really interesting people in, how would you say, like in the backwoods, not hanging around. Not, I mean, we get the odd crazy like everybody else, like not in our areas, but you know, they've got their life living off grid, doing what they do. We used to get from World War II, we used to get out on Vancouver Island. There's a lot of people that were, what do they call it? Well, they just got out of the wars and took off, came to Canada, didn't have to have passports back then, and went deep, deep, deep into the bush. I seen one guy in this at the end of Vancouver Island, very, very far end. It ended up being a reserve. And the way they got their fuel is they were waiting for a boat to come in. And this is how we ended up in this like middle of nowhere on this reserve, because there was nobody selling fuel anywhere. So we were kind of stuck. Well, we waited for the boat to come in and we got our fuel. But I seen a man like with a long, long, long ass beard, gray, wearing like overall, what are they called? Coveralls type thing, and had his cane, and he was walking his goats. It's like, what? It was like so interesting. But yeah, they start families and everybody is homeschooled and not in the way we are. Like they're taught by their parents. So it's a really, really interesting thing. Now there's another area, right? There's another area. Morning, Babs. Oh, so you mean for Karen Reed? Yeah, so do I. I mean, it needs to be looked in. I at first, oh, guys, they're back.
Assuming this is like stuck. Can you turn it?
Yeah.
Thanks, Dandy.
Oh, wait. Oh, I see what the
You know,
problem.
let me stick this one out. Might be easier. Oh, it keeps popping out, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's the problem. It keeps popping out. But let's see if I hold the back of it for you.
This is why we're useless. Did you get it?
I think so. There.
All right, get it.
Sorry, I was helping with your jump.
We can bring the jury back in.
I know. I was mentioning that earlier. Isn't that like adorable? I wonder how many he has.
Does Your Honor want Mr. Quitt back on the stand?
Yes.
Oh, you gotta love bow ties. They're adorable. Yeah, first question. Judge, where do you buy your ties? Amazon Prime.
Okay, would counsel stipulate, please?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Quint, you may be seated.
Are they holding things up again? No. Okay.
Let me actually go back a moment, sir, and go to this first Albany and Blue Hills camera, if I can. Your Honor, the state is also going to.
Is that his truck?
Leave what was
The truck?
state's 34.
What? Lady, what you doing? What you doing?
All right, sir, do you see the two items, maybe a little squished together, but do you see them on the screen behind you?
Yes.
Okay. Now, with respect to the video, Albany and Blue Hills, if you can, could you please show the intersection if it appears?
Yes.
Okay. And the Blue Hill Street, sir?
This is Blue Hills here. This is all.
Okay. And Milford?
And this is Milford Street.
Okay. And there's the McDonald's?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. You could have a seat. Now, did the brief cam pick up that car on another camera?
Yes.
Which camera, sir?
I picked it up at both Albany and Garden and the intersection of Albany.
Okay.
Nice.
I can. What camera angle is that, sir?
So this is the intersection of
Oh my
Albany and Garden.
God. I love them, Mexi.
Westbound and also.
There's one with elephants.
Garden Street.
If you wouldn't mind,
Yes,
sir, which street is Albany Avenue?
this is Albany Avenue.
Damn.
And same questions as before. If you're driving upward away from the camera, is that towards Hartford or away?
Going.
Love it.
would be away from Hartford, so that would be going towards-
Check out that link, guys.
So
You'll
going
love
towards
it.
Hartford would be bottom of the camera.
Correct.
Okay, is this on the same side as the last one, basically?
Yes, it's on the south side.
Okay, and this road that intersects with Albany over on the left,
Garden Street.
that's Garden Street. And this establishment, do you know what it is?
It's had a bunch of names over the past couple of years, so I don't know what it was called.
38. So for the record, 738:08.
Where's the truck? Where's the truck? Where's the truck? Okay, I think that's a building. Is that? Hmm.
No, sir, I'm going to ask you the same question.
Oh, there we go.
With respect to the map, this is Albany and Garden.
There we
Is that
go.
depicted on the map on States 34?
It is. Albany and Garden is the intersection here.
Actually gonna, which side of the street is the camera angle, sir?
So the camera is on the southeast corner.
And Garden
Oh.
Street, if you could just point it out.
Garden Street is here. This is Albany.
Okay, thank you. Now, is this a movable or fixed camera view?
This is a fixed camera.
Where you going, butthead?
And
We could show that again. I want to see what's in the back. Slow.
what camera angle
There's
is
the
this?
bed.
So this is another fixed camera view, but this is faced east.
And the road on the right?
This, you're talking about this one?
Yes, please.
This would be Garden Street. This is Albany Avenue.
And same questions, Albany Avenue, if you keep driving straight, does that go to the Hartford or away from Hartford?
It's still going further into Hartford.
Okay. Now, is this a view that brief cam picked up?
Yes.
I can see the bag. Oh, look at them. Yeah. What's that? What was that? What? Yeah, so what was that, guys? I have no clue. I didn't realize he left something else. Yeah, I'm glad they're going through the videos for some clarity.
Back a little. This camera view, sir.
So this is another fixed camera at Albany and Garden, and it covers the eastbound direction and northbound direction. This is Albany Ave, this is Garden Street.
Okay. This isn't one of those movable ones?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
With respect to the garbage can, is that the same garbage can that we saw on the screen before?
Yes.
Okay.
Was there a bin there already? This guy's was just a butthead. At least with the prosecution, they get right into it. They don't get there and like analyze everything to like the smallest degree that they
I have
can.
a quick question, sir. Do you see that black truck that's on that screen?
Yes.
Okay. If you can, just following that up.
Didn't that truck have a timing on? That one there? Look at all the bags. Look at all the bags, guys.
What's the difference between the two? Did Brief Cam pick up that other black truck?
It did as a black.
Okay, but not as a Ford Raptor?
So Brief Cam doesn't specify make and model of vehicle, just specifies black or pickup. There's a few things that are unique about the Ford Raptor compared to the other truck.
And what was that?
The other truck had a timing over
Cover
top
on
of the
back,
box.
Covering on the bed of the truck. The Ford Raptor has hood scoops on the front, so little indentations on the front of the hood.
Look at all the bags.
And so when you're going through this video, were you looking at all the trucks that were black and pickup trucks?
Yes, that's where we started.
Okay, and then you started, so were you able to narrow it further?
Yes.
How were you able to do that?
Once we started to see the same truck stopping and putting garbage bags and random garbage cans.
So what angle is this?
So this is a fixed camera at the intersection of Albany and Center, and this camera is faced westbound.
How many bags? I think I counted 6 that were still in the vehicle.
I'm going to stop here, 73947. Do we see that same truck, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Is that the truck from that I pointed out before?
I believe so,
Is the
yes.
same? Okay.
But he just wasn't even bright about this. Does he not think about cameras? Oh, not many bags left.
No, stop it there. So I'm going to go back to picture 1 with the map. If you can, is the area of that intersection depicted on this screen?
Yeah.
And then he takes his vehicle and has it detailed and then gives it back.
It's about the camera's about.
Okay.
In between Green and Center.
So Green Street is right here.
Yes.
Where is Center?
This is Center Street here.
Okay.
North south.
And this restaurant, Island Fish Head Restaurant, do you know, if you do, if that was Island Fish Head Restaurant in
Nope,
2019? I'm sorry?
No,
It wasn't, or you don't know?
I don't know.
Okay, thank you. Okay. At 7:41:12. Sir, what street is this?
Green Street?
And again, if you were driving, let me zoom back in. If you were driving Albany Avenue going to the left corner, upper left corner, which direction are you traveling now?
So if you're traveling this direction, it would be traveling west.
Okay, is that towards Hartford or away?
It would be towards west.
West Hartford?
Yes,
Okay, so if you were traveling towards the bottom right, would that be into the city of Hartford?
yes.
So that they're going to show him what coming up again. He didn't have that many bags left, and it did. It looked like there was at least 6 back there at one point. Is that him across the street? I think it is. Yeah, I think that's him across the street.
Sir, what intersection are we at again?
So this is Albany and Blue Hills.
Is this the same camera that we started with?
Yes.
Okay. And
So right, it's across the street to that bin that I think I just seen him.
apologize. Back at the map, sir, if you could just point out where we are now.
So we're back at the same intersection. This is Milford Street, Albany Avenue, Blue Hills Avenue.
What a dickwad, man.
Is the camera angled towards Hartford or away from Hartford?
Left 5 kids
Facing
orphaned.
west,
So away from Hartford?
away from Hartford.
Thank you. I'm going to fast forward a little bit to
Dickwads, I do believe. Not just him.
7:47:21.
Couple of
And again,
dickwads.
sir, the street that's up here on the right, where the cursor is, do you see that?
That's Adams Street.
Okay.
There we go. Out of the vehicle. What are you doing, Bolus? Oh, look at the passenger seat. She's in there. Did you guys see that? Look at her. She's moving around in there. Yeah. But if you look through that back window. She's in there. They're talking. Oh, there we are. Open the door. Oh, that's where she does this. Okay. What was that all about? Hey, Southern girl. Thanks for popping in, friend. Yeah. Yeah. Southern Gal. Yes.
Thank
I
you,
just
sir.
love it.
If you can have a seat.
And the
The state's
accent.
intention at
Oh,
this time is to ask about the witness and inquire about some further video that was obtained. I believe there's an objection to it at this time.
Well, that's fairly general, so the court does not know what the video evidence is or what the objection is.
Can we have a sidebar, please?
of course, a sidebar. This guy. Oh my God. Do I need to add a little something, something to my water? Oh, look it. It's green. Check that out, guys. That's my water. I'm so magic right now. How bizarre, how bizarre. Anything green? Yeah, seriously, what was that? She touched the ground and it straight up looked like the male whipped up there. The male wiped up where he footstepped or picking something up. That was strange. That was really strange. To find a penny or something. I'm gonna have to try that other platform again. I'm getting used to this one, but this happens all the time. I don't know how to eliminate it. Certain colors. And that's a green strip on my sweater. I've got another one down here. I'll probably do the same thing. Yep. Look at the green at the bottom. And then the green on my clothes, like on my sleeves. This is green. Isn't that bizarre? Do you know what? They spend so much time at the sidebar, or Saul is like blah 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 blah, and he's always seems to get denied. It's just like this is the reason I do believe it's going to be so long. Is this defense lawyer? Longer sidebar. It is very. I'm hoping it picks up. Do you think he can hear what they're saying? They take their time. If they can, like some of them, it's like, what? And like I said, the defense is dragging this out. It's almost painful. I'm hoping that some of these witnesses have more to say. Right now, we're just dealing with the cops and DNA, and hopefully they bring people in to explain this relationship or things that they had said to other people. I'm waiting for that. Yeah, it's a low-key courtroom. Excellent judge. I think she's very, very involved in her own defense. Do you think she knows that her lawyers are irritating as shite? Yeah, for sure. And just it's dry right now. It's really, really dry. So, like I said, hopefully it'll pick up a little bit. Yeah, there are a couple that are very memorable. Absolutely. Hmm. Well said. Yeah, and it's just getting more and more interesting as time goes on. Oh, sidebar over. Sure, the court just went, yeah, denied.
I may just have one moment, Your Honor. The state's intention now to play states 37 and inquire for the witness, Your Honor. Sir, if I may, Mr. Quint, prior to playing anything, were you asked to get, or was further video from C4 regarding the intersection of Albany Avenue and Garden
Very
Street,
true.
obtained?
Yes.
Okay, and what time period?
We were asked.
I've
for
always
the
been
same from the
interested in
24th to the 30th.
all of it,
Okay, was brief cam used at all
but
during
the
that?
why
time
is
period?
always my biggest question
Okay,
too.
was that video given to anybody?
Yes,
Who was it given to?
the state.
Okay, Your Honor, at this time, the state would offer 512. I can play it for the witness, but.
Oh my God, yeah.
Counsel wishes to make an objection at this time.
I'll be streaming them, that's
If
for
I may
damn
just
sure.
inquire whether this is the a proper witness for that, if I may.
Your Honor, this,
Good God.
Mr. Quint works at C4. I plan on opening up the video and inquiring the same questions as before, which is what camera this is and.
My question is, did this witness then obtain the one, or he used the word "we," which usually suggests it wasn't, unless it's the royal.
You can see her sitting in the
So I
passenger
just want
seat.
to clarify that.
From the court's
You can
discussion,
see her pop her brain out of the
this
vehicle and
witness
pick
can
something
only
up off
testify
the ground. There's
as
probably
to the
gum,
date,
you guys. She
time,
probably found a piece of gum stuck to the ground.
and location of the camera. That's what the
That
court
is-
understands.
Yes, Your Honor, that is all I'm going to inquire from this witness, is which camera this is, the date, the time it shows, and then the state's intention is to offer the video and then rest with Mr. Quint.
I just want to, it's from a different day. I just want to clarify, we're talking about a different day?
We are talking about a different day.
Then I would just say that it's not relevant to Ms. Troconis, but that's my objection.
Overruled.
Sir, may I have you take a
Exactly.
look behind you if you can?
Overruled.
No, sir, we only see three, I guess, pictures on the screen. What location are these camera angles, please?
So the first one on the top left, that's Albany Garden, aerospace southeast. The second one on the top right is Albany Garden, and it shows east-west. And then the last one is Albany Garden, and the camera's again faced east.
And if you wouldn't mind, Albany and Garden West, what is the date and time of this video?
It's May 26th, 2019 at 6:48 a.m.
Thank you. Sir, you can have a seat if you can. Thank you. And this camera angle
This is faced east.
of that same intersection
Yes, Albany Garden.
and the date and time.
This is May 26th, 2019 at 6:49 a.m.
What's going on there, buddy? Hmm. I didn't think about that. People going in and rummaging and possibly finding some of the stuff he dropped off. What was that? Hmm. Never even thought about dumpster divers. Never even thought.
We'll stop at 6:52:17. Nothing further. Thank you.
Thank you. Cross-examination, attorney showing order.
Okay. Here we go, guys.
No
Oh
question.
my God.
Thank you. Well, you may step down. Thank you.
Oh,
Your Honor, the state has Mr. Atmore, or I should say Trooper Atmore.
thanks for being here, Southern girl. Thank you so much.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or solemnly and sincerely affirm as the case may be that the evidence you shall give concerning this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or upon penalty of perjury?
I do.
Please state your name and spell it for the record.
Brett Atmore, BRETT-ATTMORE.
And your affiliation?
I'm with the Connecticut State Police.
Thank you.
You may be seated. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
May I inquire, Your Honor?
Yes.
Actually, it's good afternoon, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
What is your current assignment with the Connecticut State Police?
I'm the resident trooper in Barkhamsted.
Okay, how long have you been the resident trooper at Barkhamsted?
2.5 years.
Prior to that, what did you do?
On and off, I've been a patrol trooper. And then I spent about 5 years in major crime.
When you say major crime, was there a particular division or department you were assigned to?
I was assigned out of the Troop H office, and prior to that, out of the Westbrook Troop F office.
Troop H, does that cover?
That's all of the, there's 13 different towns, highways, state buildings, prisons,
In what areas?
Hartford, greater Hartford area.
So were you a part of the Central District Major Crimes?
I was.
Okay, for what years were you?
You
assigned
guys,
to
can you
Central
drop
District Major
Southern
Crimes?
Girls link for me?
2016 to 2020.
And with respect to, what types of investigations does Central District Major Crime investigate?
Mostly larger scale crimes, felonies, robberies, homicides, that sort of, the more major crimes.
And who was your sergeant in 2019?
Thanks, Jandy. Have a
It
good
would
stream,
be,
friend.
Matt Gonzalez.
You guys sub
I'm
up
gonna-
to
I'm gonna draw your
Southern
attention
Girl
specifically to
True Crime. She's
2019 around the time of
absolutely
May
awesome.
30th, okay?
Link will be in the description.
Now, were you called
A
to
couple of
assist in the
times.
investigation to the disappearance of Jennifer Dulos?
Yes.
Check her
What
out.
was your
Sub-
assignment
Sub
that
up.
day?
My supervisor had me go to C4, which is part of Hartford PD. They have surveillance cameras accessed all around the city, and I was specifically tasked with looking for a pickup truck, a black Ford F-150 Raptor, traveling in the city on the 24th of May.
Thank
Was there
you
a
very
specific
much, you
time
guys.
frame you
Thank
were
you.
asked to
Thank
look
you.
for?
It was roughly 7:30 p.m.
Now, did you go to C4?
I did,
What day did you go
Back
to
at you,
C4?
friend.
May 30th.
Now, did you review anything or watch any video cameras at C4?
I did.
By the way, as part of Central District Major Crimes, did you work with C4 on multiple occasions?
We did, yes,
Okay, so you were aware of its capabilities.
I was.
So with respect to, I believe it states 36. Sir, briefly, I'm going to have you take a look behind you. Do you recognize what's depicted there?
I do.
Okay, what is that?
Cameras along Albany Ave, I believe, in Hartford.
Okay.
Another video?
Now, when you arrived at C4 that day, did you observe, if I can,
Yeah, that's the one. This is where we've got the picture, right?
this video footage? 7:39:05.
Yes,
Where were you when you watched this?
I was at C4 in Hartford.
Did
Brutal.
you have any other officers with you?
No, other than maybe the random Hartford police officer in the building, no one from our agency.
Is there a bin over there or does he just place it there?
Now, after watching this video clip, did you take any action?
I did.
What did you do?
I notified my supervisor, Matt Gonzalez, about what I'd seen, specifically the trash getting dropped off in multiple City of Hartford garbage cans.
Yeah, like that's not weird.
Get an evidence
No.
collection team to go and access those or seize the contents.
I hope they
When
got
you
them.
notified your
don't
sergeant,
know.
when did you do that?
Right after I saw it,
Were you
I-
still physically at C4 when
was,
you
yeah.
called him? Oh, why did you do that right away?
just in the event that the trash got picked up, got meddled with. I don't know. I wanted to have someone out there as soon as possible.
And what day was this? What was the date?
The 30th
The
of
30th
May.
of May?
Yeah.
With respect to the screen.
Can you guys
before this,
remember?
I can draw your attention. If you go watch 7:39:26.
There's a garbage bin there.
I'm gonna stop it at 7:39:38. With respect to this garbage can,
Yeah.
did you notify your sergeant with respect to that,
I did.
as well as this one?
Yes.
Okay. Now, did you look at other cameras as well?
I did.
Which ones?
There was one captured Albany and Milford Street. One that was Albany and Garden.
Well,
Another one at Albany and Green.
okay.
And I think the last one was Albany and Adams.
See what's
Jeez.
depicted here?
I do.
Okay, this is Albany and Blue Hills, I guess. If you can, so I'm gonna draw your attention to 7:47:22.
There we go. What a. So I'm curious, why does he park so freaking far away? That doesn't even make sense.
Now, sir, is this a video recording that you watched on May 30th, 2019?
Yeah.
You can see her moving around in there. He is so not alone. What do you think they're talking about in there?
Sir, did you take any action with respect to anything really after watching this video?
Again, I notified my supervisor about the location of this particular instance. It looked like a sewer. And
What was
something
that?
was placed in it.
Let me ask you that, actually, if I can go back just briefly.
Yes, this is that license plate.
Did you notify your supervisor with respect to the garbage can?
Yes.
Okay. And again, were you on still at C4 when you made that call?
I was.
Now, you also mentioned the sewer grate.
that
Where
what
is
she's
that located on
doing?
the screen?
Is this her?
Kind of right up by the passenger door of the truck.
If you wouldn't mind, sir, if you could go up and point.
Right here.
And for the record, you're
That
pointing
what-
to
I thought
the
she was
middle
picking
right
up used gum.
side. Thank you, sir. And you also mentioned, I believe, Albany and Green, was that correct?
Yes.
Do you think that's where
The man
the
was
license plate was
go to
found?
Albany
Is that where
and
that
Center
sewer grade was?
Camera.
Okay. Okay.
741, please.
The son of a bitches.
Did you observe this while you were on C4 property?
I did.
And did you inform anybody after what you saw in this?
Yeah, again, I notified my supervisor.
They get all these bags, guys.
Did you actually go to Albany Avenue, sir?
No.
Now, do you recall what time of day this was that you watched these videos?
Believe it was around 3 p.m.
And after watching these videos and informing your sergeant, did you review other video from C4?
I did.
And what video did you review?
There was more video of the corner of Albany and Garden, and it was played up till I think the 26th of May.
Why did you look for Albany and Garden video?
That was a garbage can that we saw trash placed in, and we were just interested to see if it had been picked up already by the garbage service in the city.
Just to be clear, the video you watched of the trash being placed in trash was placed in on what day?
The 24th,
Okay, and you watched it on which date?
the 30th.
Okay. Did you
Yikes.
watch, when you watched the video from the 24th, how far did you get, or how long did you watch the video for to determine if the trash had been picked up from that garbage can?
It was determined that particular garbage can was picked up on the 28th.
Okay. How do you know that?
We could see the garbage truck picking up the garbage can. So
So did you watch the video for that time?
yes,
Okay, and do you know what time the trash can came and picked up that video?
I'd have to reference my report for the exact time on the 28th.
Do you have any idea, or would you refresh your recollection, take a look at your report?
It would refresh my recollection.
Okay.
I could look at that.
If I may have a moment, Your Honor.
She done?
I may just approach the clerk.
Yes.
Sir, I'm going to show you what's been marked as states 38 for ID. And draw your attention to the second page, last paragraph. Please don't read it out loud.
Okay, look, about 4:10 p.m. is when it got picked up.
It was PM or AM? It doesn't, or does it not say?
It doesn't say.
So
So it does say hours. So maybe 4:10 a.m.
okay, I can have that back. Are you sure for 10 AM?
Yeah, yeah.
Could I have that marked for ID, please?
It is.
Oh, thank you. And what's the number?
It is 38. Now, in your review of that video, sir, that was Albany and Green? Or, I'm sorry, Albany and Garden?
Albany and Garden.
Yes. Did you watch it to see, or were you aware of any video of anybody else rifling through that garbage can?
Your Honor, I'm going to object to asking this witness to characterize what was being seen in the videos. The jury saw it, they can speak themselves.
Well, the question is, did you observe anyone else rifling through the trash?
I apologize, Your Honor. I will rephrase. Sir, did you see anybody else go through that garbage can?
Yes.
Okay, at what time or when, I should say?
It was on the 26th of May, sometime around 6 a.m. If I could reference my report, I could give you a more accurate time.
Oh my God, guys, this could put me to sleep. Bring us some action. Tell us what happened. Mods do pretty good, I think. I think we'll be fine. I really do. We're just not the drama channel. I don't mind different opinions at all, but they can't be rude ones.
Yes.
Case 939 for ID. Again, please draw your attention to page 2. You can, don't read it out loud, just take a look and see if that refreshes your recollection.
Okay, it does.
And what was the time?
6:51 a.m.
I'm going to draw your attention to states 37.
Yeah, absolutely great, happy-go-lucky mods, but they don't tolerate ish. They're good,
Play, please, Albany and
and I certainly
Gordon.
don't. We've already had to get rid of one troll today, and it's like
6:50,
not a big deal.
25.
Bye. So yeah, this is interesting. Is this before, I'm assuming? What's he finding in there? Yeah, that's very fair, Chopper. Yeah, absolutely. It'll be emotional. It will be emotional. What was that? What was that?
Sir, just without asking you anything, without saying anything anybody said or anything like that, just yes or no, sir, were you able to find the identity of who that person was?
We were.
That's all I have at this time. Thank you.
I just would like to just look at the reports for a minute. Do you have one there in front of you? or not?
No, I don't.
Quick, he says, all the time, quick. He's never quick. Saul. It's not just call Saul, it should be never call Saul with this one. Can you guys hear the sounds in the background? Can you hear the chinchillas?
Sir, I just have like a couple of questions. So you had the snippets from these C4 video downloaded
Thank
onto
you.
some kind of drive for you, correct?
Correct.
Is that on a
Thank you, my
flash
friend.
drive, a DVD? What was it given to you on?
I
Defense
believe
is
it's
just
flash.
starting to question
Did you
another
pick
cop.
what you wanted to have downloaded?
They had already assembled footage of this vehicle's travels on Albany Ave. That's what I took.
Oh, so they didn't make you sit there and watch like 24 or 48 hours of video yourself?
Well, no, we were watching the truck, yeah.
And then, when you say they, who's they was watching?
Oh,
the
the analysts at C4 that were assisting.
No,
Look to see if anyone
not
else came
today.
by
Maybe
or anyone
tomorrow
else
though,
went through
Tony.
or dropped anything off besides that, correct? And I just want to be clear about the garbage truck you mentioned. You saw in one of the videos a garbage truck pick up trash along Albany Avenue and that, at least some of those receptacles, right?
One of them, yeah.
And that was on May, you said 28th,
Correct.
according to the time, right?
According to the time.
Did you actually download that video as well?
Yes.
That's it.
Thank you.
Just one, sir, with respect to the garbage truck that you saw, did you see that garbage truck stop at what location and pick up trash?
That was Albany and Garden.
Okay, but you didn't see it pick up trash at the other locations?
I did.
Thank you.
Did you watch the multiple days from the 24th to 28th to see if any others got picked up?
No.
Thank you.
Nothing further.
Mr. Admore, you may step down.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, with
I
respect
agree.
to our next witness, I believe he was told to come for 1. We're ending the morning a little early.
So you expect him for 2 o'clock?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you are disappointed in that, we're sorry. We'll take our luncheon recess until 2 o'clock and resume with the state's witness at that time. Please do not discuss the case and have a good lunch.
Yeah, it's a good question. Okay, so 2 o'clock Eastern, noon Mountain Standard Time. So I will absolutely set that stream up when they're done here. I don't know if the lawyers are going to chit chat after. We'll wait and see. And no. So guys, I will set that stream up for the afternoon session. Thank you very much for being here with me. Hopefully this picks up, right? I will see you guys in a couple hours.